The 10th standard maths public exam. Yeah, it's a big one. But what if acing it isn't about just memorizing every single formula? What if it's more like cracking a code? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are decoding the official exam blueprint to give you a clear strategic advantage. Are you feeling that mix of theorems, graphs, and algebra just kind of swirling around in your head? Don't worry. You are not alone. But here's the secret. The students who really crush this exam don't just study harder, they study smarter. And that's exactly what we're going to figure out how to do. I want you to think of it like we're building a house. First, we're going to put on our architect hat. We'll study the official exam blueprint to see exactly what we're supposed to build. Then we'll grab our tools and become the builder, using proven strategies to construct our knowledge piece by piece. So here's our game plan. We'll decode that blueprint, see what skills they're actually testing, go through a chapter-by-chapter guide, zoom in on the most critical chapters, and finally put it all together into your personal study plan. Ready to start building? Let's lay the foundation. Okay, first things first, the architect's plan. Before we solve a single problem, we have to understand the rules of the game. The official question paper design tells us everything we need to know about how this exam is structured. So let's break it down. The exam is split into 4 sections. You've got your quick 1 markers in section A, the short 2 markers in B, your more serious 5 markers in C, and then the 2 big ones, the 10-mark questions in section D. It's a classic 100-mark paper. But the real story isn't about how many questions there are. It's about where the marks are. And this, right here, is our first huge clue. Just look at that weightage. Section C and Section D together make up a staggering 65% of your total score. 65%! Right away, the blueprint is shouting at us, telling us exactly where the battle is won or lost. This is where our focus needs to be. Okay, so we know the structure, but what is the exam really trying to measure? I'll give you a hint. It's about way more than just remembering formulas. Let's see what skills the architect actually wants to see in our final building. Now, check this out and let it sink in for a second. According to the official blueprint, a full 60% of the paper is classified as easy. Only a tiny 12% is considered difficult. This isn't just wishful thinking, folks. This is a fact. The exam is literally designed to be passed, and passed well, by anyone who prepares strategically. And it gets even more interesting. This exam is not really a memory test. See that little knowledge slice? Pure memorization is less than 20% of your score. The real points, the big points, are in understanding, skill, and application. That means your goal isn't just to remember a formula, but to truly get why it works and how to use it. So, we've got the how and the what down. Now for the most important part of the blueprint, the where. We're talking about the chapter-by-chapter mark distribution. Think of this as our treasure map. It's going to show us exactly where the most points are buried. And here it is, the full breakdown. At a quick glance, you can see how many marks each chapter is worth. Now look, every chapter is important, of course, but some of them are absolute titans. Let's zoom in on the real heavy hitters. First up, Chapter 3, Algebra. This one is the undisputed champion, weighing in at a massive 21 marks. Just think about that. This one chapter alone is worth more than all of Section B combined. You absolutely, positively have to know your algebra. But listen up, because here is the real game changer. Practical geometry and graphs. Together, they make up the entirety of Section D. That's 20, count 'em, 20 guaranteed marks just waiting for you. That's a massive 20% of your entire paper from just 2 specific types of questions. Mastering these is completely non-negotiable if you want a high score. All right, architect's plans studied. We know the what, the where, and the why. Now it's time to switch gears. Let's put on the hard hat, open up the Builder's Toolkit, and look at the practical, hands-on techniques for constructing those answers perfectly. Okay, here's a serious pro tip. You know those big 5-mark questions in Section C? Where do they usually come from? Well, the data and expert guides show a really consistent pattern. They almost always come from these core chapters: sets and functions, sequences and series, algebra, coordinate geometry, geometry, trigonometry, and mensuration. If you want to own Section C, this is where you focus your practice. Now let's actually see this in action with practical geometry. The builder's process every single time starts with a simple rough diagram, just like the one on the left. That's your plan. Then, with careful measurement and your tools, you build the final, precise figure on the right. Every step is logical, and trust me, with practice, it becomes automatic. And guess what? It's the exact same process for drawing tangents. You start with a rough sketch to map everything out, then you execute the precise steps for a perfect, full marks construction. The secret to Section D isn't some kind of magic, it's just practice. Practice this process until you can practically do it in your sleep. And here's the other half of Section D, graphs. Just like constructions, graph questions are all about following a clear process. You create your table, you identify the variation, you plot your points, and you draw the line. Master this simple, repeatable process, and boom, you've just locked in another 10 guaranteed marks. Okay, we've seen the architect's plan, we've opened the builder's tools. Now, for our final act, let's put it all together. This is your clear, 4-step strategic plan to build your success. Step 1. Secure your foundation. Master practical geometry and graphs to lock in those 20 marks from Section D. Step 2. Target the highway chapters we talked about, especially algebra. Step 3. The blueprint says the compulsory questions in Sections B and C are almost always from Chapters 2, 3, 5, and 8, so practice those like crazy. And finally, Step 4, and this is a huge one, don't ignore the solved examples in your textbook. A staggering 31% of exam questions can come directly from them. That's nearly a third of your paper right there. Look, as you start your preparation, there are going to be tough days. When you hit a wall, I want you to remember this. The struggle you're in today will definitely develop the strength you need for tomorrow. The hard work you're putting in now is building a foundation for so much more than just this one exam. So there you have it. You've got the architect's plan, you've got the builder's strategy. You now have everything you need to deconstruct this exam and build your own success. Go forward with confidence. All the very best.